Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Happy Friday. What's up? How you feeling? Everybody's laughing out. Hey, today's going to be a great show. Thanks for tuning in. This is always a joy every Friday morning to bring this program to you folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to do some things on the entertainment side of the industry today. So Red Rebel does a lot of different things. So we're not only a marketing company, but we dabble in festival booking and promotion, and we also we dabble with a sister company that is an agency that actually books actors for some of our promotions for local businesses, and also books musicians for local events. So super excited to invite our friend Mary Douglas back on this morning. Let's get her in, see if she's around. Hello, Mary.
Hi.
How you doing?
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Do you want spaghetti or no spaghetti?
I kind of like the spaghetti. It was like I can have carbs without the calories.
You want
Very nice.
Hey, let's leave the spaghetti today.
I like the spaghetti.
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah. I don't want it to make you feel bad. If you're
it makes you feel good. I don't have to eat it. I can just look at it.
Yeah, you're an absolute fitness fanatic. That
I kind of am.
You're like in a pool like 5 hours a day.
It's
incredible. I love what you do.
I was at 5:45 a.m. this morning.
Oh my gosh, you're fitness
I know.
Guru.
And then I swam for a half hour. I did laps.
Oh my gosh, I love you. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
I know we share an office, and I normally see her every day, and I haven't seen her for a long time. I've been kind of working in my home bunker. We have like a new studio that I built in my house, and I've been kind of working there for the past, seems like 5 years. But
I know, right? Even though it's been since March, and I've been working at home, so
yeah. It's crazy. I'm going to copy this link. Tell the people who you are while I do this. Yeah.
Okay. So a little background on me. So again, my name is Mary Douglas, and I've been in the business in one form or another longer than I will admit. So over 2 decades. Okay, over 3. But anyway, so I just admitted it. I taught at the university for a long time, and at Southeast Community College, I ran the theater department for a while. I've been a union actor for, again, 3 decades. So I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA and Equity. I've directed probably over, 70 theatrical productions. I've lived all over the country. I lived in Boston. I lived in New York. I lived in Chicago for 10 years. And then I came here and had a bunch of kids, and but kept working. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I've done a lot of voiceovers, commercials, things like that. And so in my newest project with you, which is what we're a little over a year old now, right? With Mid-America Artists.
That's right. And tell the people what Mid-America Artists is. I'm almost done posting this thing here.
Oh, that's fine. So we're a talent agency, right? So we find talent and cast them in commercials and industrials, print ads, films, you name it, we find it. We've also served as casting directors for certain projects.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we do both. We kind of do it all. In fact, I meant to tell you earlier, but we had one of the projects we're working on is a film right now. And the producer called me yesterday and then sent me a couple emails that now he lost his wardrobe person. So he wants me to help him find someone to do wardrobe. So we can do whatever people ask us.
Right.
Pretty much.
And it seems like being in the Midwest, where you don't see these kinds of projects very often, we are often the headhunter for a ton of different, like you just said, people come to us and say, I need this, I need that. And it's sometimes it's quite ridiculous, but that's just kind of the name of the game in the Midwest.
Right.
You just kind of say,
sometimes we can say, oh, wait, I can do that. Yeah. Oh, sure. We can get you a grip. Not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, need? Yeah. Okay. So you need a crew. All right.
50-foot crane? Sure. No problem. We got you.
That'll be next now. We'll get a bunch of emails saying, I need a crane.
Yeah. For my backyard party. Oh, really? You're not.
Okay. You know, we charge, right? It is a business, just FYI. So, and if you allow me, I'd like to say a couple of things to the aspiring actors, actresses.
Yes, let's say that. So there's a lot of people that contact us on the regular, actually, that want to become or have a desire to become actors or actresses. and or entertainers of sorts. And
Right. Right.
and
Which we're not discouraging anyone. I want to encourage everyone. Which before we go into that, I forgot to mention, I also teach private acting lessons, and I do that virtually as well as in person. It just all depends what
yeah.
the student's comfortable with. So,
And we can't give away the news. Sorry to interrupt you, but we
go
can't say who you're giving lessons to right now, can we?
No, I mean, we can. I am
Like,
working on a Netflix film. I'm a dialect coach for a Netflix film. We can say that. So I'll be going on location here in about a month.
Yeah, I'll just say it's an enormous star. I cannot believe it. So
There's
I'm
four.
so, I'm
Now,
so
I've been talking, Michael. There's 4 enormous stars now.
well.
which is cool.
It's incredible what you're doing. Like you just thrill me, Mary. You just thrill me.
Stop it. You thrill me.
It's
Come
incredible.
on.
I wish we could tell people, but just know, folks, it's some of the biggest stars out there. That's all you
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah.
And
And then
I'm
2 of
proud
them
of
have
the,
become my friends, which is nice. So I'll get these random text messages, and it thrills my kids no end. They're like, oh, what'd they say? What'd they
Yeah.
say? You know, and then
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, oh, okay, we're just texting. It's just funny.
Right.
So, but so there's that. But so, but I also give private acting lessons to, to Lincoln natives or Omaha natives. Like I said, you can be from anywhere, because I have 2 students right now that are virtual, and I have 2 that I meet either, in our office or sometimes at the NET radio studios, because I'm a part-time radio announcer there. And so I use their studios every now and then.
I see. Okay.
Which I don't know if I'm supposed to say that either, but I just did. So,
well, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm going to go ahead and say it's fine.
Okay. Thanks. That's
It's not my place.
No, it's not really, but I work there, and they're really cool with it. And no one's been there since March. So it's a super safe. That's the thing with people. When I meet students in person, we make sure to keep the social distancing, there's the sanitizer, the whole thing. So there's no risk. I don't put anyone at risk.
Oh, okay.
Safe precautions are taken.
So you've been kind of going in still and kind of doing the what do they call it? The microphone cover, the little bonnet.
Oh yeah, we have our own private cover, and
yeah. Oh, great! Wow.
Headsets, and it's and there's a shower curtain. I'm not sure why, but
a shower curtain.
Yes,
wow. Boy, they're making
the world. I
get
don't
the
even
duct tape out and shower curtain and make your own hazmat suit.
Right, the studio. Yep. That's high tech.
Wow. Boy, they're going.
Yeah, public radio,
Yeah, they're really going for it. Jeez.
Yeah. But they do use a lot of precautions, like I said. So yeah, hand sanitizer, microphone covers. So, but the actors that I meet in person, that is their choice. Otherwise, we can do it FaceTime, Skype, whatever.
That's awesome. So what kind of stuff do you you're just kind of a general, would you call yourself a news reporter, or what do you like? What's the general, just basic NPR news? Is that what?
No, I've been trained on all of the shows, so I'm just an announcer.
That's just an announcer. Okay,
an announcer. Mm-hmm.
The voice of the voice of NET NPR.
That's right. That's me,
right,
the voice.
Right.
Should I use my NPR voice now?
You often, I know. It's like, here, switch for me just for a second.
Like enter registers and.
Yeah, do it just for a second when you go.
Just do that. This is Mary Douglas. You're listening to NPR.
So soothing. I want to get you to read something for me some night just to put me to sleep.
Well, that's kind of what it is. And you're just like,
I know. It's so calming. Jeez.
You're supposed to be. That's the whole thing. And unbiased and, all the stuff, all the things.
Wow.
But it's fun.
Folks, any audiobooks out there, send it her way. Or if you wrote a book.
Right. And I've done a few of those, and documentaries and things like that. I've voiced over. I mean, I've done voiceovers for so many things.
I haven't told you my latest project, which I'm so excited about.
Do tell.
Because we hardly ever talk, and when we do, it's normally about business. But
yes.
I am working on a children's book with a local artist and a writer publisher in LA. And it's a project that we've had going on, talked about for at least 5+ years. And
wow.
Finally, during the pandemic, we're like, hey guys, let's just do this. So we reached out to a local artist that we just adore, and he's on board, and he's working on pieces now. And then we're working on the script, and I want to give you the title because it's incredible. It's a children's book, and it's called Dorcupine. And it's it just
I
basically
love it.
it writes
And
itself.
and something we can all relate to.
Right, right. So Dorcupine is a character. Obviously, he's a porcupine who's bullied. He has self-esteem issues, and it's a kind of a coming of character type piece. But it's yeah. So the script's in the works, and it's pretty sweet.
Wonderful. Can you say who the actor is?
No. This is just this is just a book so far.
Oh, so no one's narrating it?
Nobody's narrating it yet. Which as it grows, we'll start getting into that. But I'd love to do like a kind of a maybe a streamed reading of it at some point when we release it. But
that's so cool. Congratulations. Yeah. I think that sounds like an awesome project.
I'm just happy it's kind of on its way. I think it's finally on its way, and I think that's sweet.
And it's really timely and
yeah. And
I mean, everyone's been bullied, but the difference is, like when I was growing up and when I was bullied, I know you're shocked, but when I was able to go home and be done with it.
Right.
And now when kids are bullied, I mean, it's 24/7 access, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you got going on.
Yeah.
They have access.
If it's on social media too, the kids at home want to be kind of seek it out and make sure that nothing's being spread about them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's even worse, like you said. Yeah, it's bad news. And I was too, which is crazy because I was kind of I used to jump around from high school to high school, and I was kind of friends with everybody, and I made it a point because I'm smaller. I'm a smaller human, and I knew that physically I would not be able to if I could easily get myself hurt.
Right.
And so I needed to be very conscious about being funny and talking my way out of, any situation. So yeah, in high school, I was definitely early high school. Later in high school, people actually kind of, took care of me in a sense because, I was kind of the everyman. I blended in with so many different people.
See, I was kind of the same way. I have to pick a group. I got along with everyone, from the stoners to the jocks to the, the nerds to, I loved all of them. They were interesting. I was like, I always had a place to sit at lunch, which is great, but I didn't have a specific group.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's, but bullying now, you're right. It's terrible. And so you're starting to see a lot more, people even coming to high schools, people coming to grade schools, talking about it. And, there's a guy locally, his name's Mike Smith. He owns the Bay or runs the organization called
the Bay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes from school to school and talks about bullying, and it's just fascinating. He's a great person, but,
wonderful.
Yeah. But,
so need advocates. I mean, they just do. It's just, I mean, my eldest daughter was bullied but not for long, because once they met me, they were like, okay, whoa, we don't want her mama.
Yeah.
She's scary.
Sick Mary on anybody.
Right. I'm not really a scary person, but boy, do not hurt one of my baby cubs. And
right.
because they need to deal with me. So
right. Yeah. There's it's a hot button issue right now. And so I figured, to have a book like that kind of writes itself. It's kind of a fun little script. So we'll see where it goes.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. So talk about what's happening in your industry and kind of what we're up to. That's kind of what I want to dig into today. And
okay.
And also kind of, a lot of people are sitting at home. We've had a lot of messages our way about how can I audition? What do I need to audition? How can I submit my headshot to Mid-America Artists? These are all like really cool things I think people should know. And it's simple, but you have to be very poignant and be logical with it. We've had a lot of people submit auditions where I'm like, really, man? Like, what?
I'm so glad that you have this program and giving me the opportunity to have this platform to speak to a lot of people I hear from. Absolutely. Because MAA gets emails every day from people inquiring, I want to be, in a commercial. I want to be in a film, blah, 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 blah. I've never done anything. And that's okay. I mean, you don't have to have experience to get cast. That's the wonderful thing. You do have to have talent. There's that. Or at least a really good audition and a decent picture. Now, as far as headshots, if you don't want to be an actor per se, you want to do this as a hobby, but you want to make some money, you don't have to get a professional headshot done. It's not a requirement, right? Mm-hmm. But you do have to have a decent photo of yourself. And by decent, I don't mean a photo like of me, like right now sitting, with a pillow behind me and, because we get so many of those or pictures. I mean, pictures that are
from
not
above,
inappropriate.
Let's just say from above.
From above.
Let's not, ladies, let's not.
Ladies, you know what? Have a shirt like this. Have a collar up here. Do that. just FYI. We're not that kind of agency. Okay.
Yeah.
So we like to have,
and
you will be surprised at the stuff we get. I mean, Mike and I aren't surprised, but you and out there in the world would be surprised. So just be tasteful. Yes. I always tell people when they're sending a photo, have a photo of yourself that is kind of nondescript. Like, of course, use makeup if you're a female within reason, natural looking makeup. Mm-hmm. Wear your hair as you'd actually like to be seen, because I don't want a glamour shot, because are you going to show up that way, if you get booked? And then if you don't, they're going to come back to us and say, hey, who is this person that you sent us? Mm-hmm. This isn't the person who sent us the video or this photo. So look like yourself, right?
Yeah.
Polished version of yourself.
And let's just be clear, there is a ton of companies right now hiring actors for commercials. They're still shooting in the middle of pandemic.
Oh my God. And they've started up with a vengeance because they took off 3 or 4 months. Exactly. So now that's like, okay, we're going to get a lot more bookings for holiday commercials, because this is when they shoot them, is in September for, Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that. Right. This is when they're going to be shot. So have it on the ready. And also, as MAA, yes, we're an agency, but we aren't doing the work for these actors, right? We find you the work. We find you the jobs. We negotiate the contract. We're there in case anything goes wrong, or if you have questions, and to
make sure you get paid.
Make sure you get paid. And also make sure, making you aware of the jobs. Mm-hmm. These are jobs that are listed online. Right. These are jobs where these production companies come to us, and it's not out in the public. Yeah, because they don't have time to sift through everyone. That's our job.
Yeah, and just so everybody's aware, we're one of 2 casting agencies in Nebraska that we know.
In Nebraska, yeah, that's legit. Yeah. I think there's like 1 or 2 that claim to be, but I don't know if they ever cast anything. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing to have a website and say we are this. It's another one to actually do it, and we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, it's not just a, fly by night. We're actually doing it. So that said, when actors submit, so if you want to submit something to us and I have your headshot and your resume, if you have one, or if you see a post online on MAA's page on Facebook or on our website, we will list specifically what we need, what we're looking for. Okay. Pay attention to that, because I get a lot of then submissions where someone will send me a video and then they'll leave out, their name, who they're represented by, what they're doing. Also, when you send us a video, put your name in the link of the video, right? Name your video. That's super important. We just ran into that, right, Michael, with the last thing.
Name the file. Yeah.
Name the file. Just name the file. It's real simple.
PS-0376 will not get you cast.
It won't, because they're not going to spend the extra time to look, and there's no reason, because that's something will take you 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. You, the actor, is who I'm talking. Right. When you're shooting yourself in a video, make sure you can use your phone. It's especially since it was even before COVID, but even now, with COVID, we're not shooting auditions anymore at our office, right? For safety concerns, all kinds of concerns. Plus, they're asking actors just to record themselves using their phone. So make sure it's horizontal, make sure it's well lit, make sure your cat doesn't jump in front of your face as you're recording. And if your cat does, record a different one, right? Don't send us that one. I can't use it.
Or send it to us so we can laugh.
Right. And then this is to make your day.
Send a real one. Yeah.
And then send a real one. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Make sure it's not cut, it's not cut off where you said, thank you, and then it's cut, or hi, my name's Mick. and then that's over.
Right.
You just, well, you will believe the things we've seen, Michael, but
It's amazing what people will send, and it's really, it just comes down to professionalism, folks, and we're trying to do our part to get you jobs, and we expect actors and people that are interested in jobs to do their part. It's like filling out a resume and not being completely out of your brain.
right. Or showing
So,
up to an interview, in a t-shirt or a
right,
low cut t-shirt or
right,
no shirt, right? And not being prepared.
right.
It's a
Yeah,
job interview. You were
it's
you were
just
interviewing
simple.
for a job. You're going to get paid.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. This isn't, and again, we lobby for our actors. I
Right.
mean, that's one of the reasons we started the agency, because people weren't getting paid what they deserved. People have
Mhm.
this attitude that, in the Midwest, I think a lot, that it is a hobby, and it's like, oh, here's a gift card, or here's $10. Thanks for the 5
Right.
hours being on set. And that's crazy. You wouldn't
Yeah.
ask anyone else to do their job for free.
Right. Getting paid in gift cards is not going to happen anymore. And
Now, if you want to give me a gift card on top of my paycheck, I'm all
yeah,
about it.
in a little stocking gift
Yeah,
bag, maybe. But
that's fine.
let's be honest. I mean, you and I have seen, since we've started this agency to help out our fellow entertainment industry folks, we have seen stuff change. We've
Yeah.
seen people say, "Oh, well, okay, I guess if we're supposed to pay them, then we'll pay them." And
I mean,
if
I
it
can look
wasn't
this
for
up
us
and
standing up and saying, if it wasn't for us standing up and saying, no, sorry, this is the baseline price.
right.
This is what actors need to be paid.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for us doing that, they would not have gotten paid on these jobs. I mean, we've already made a difference with our goal to make a difference in the industry, and we've done that.
Yes, we have, and I'm very proud of that. I mean, we should be very proud of that. I mean, we
Mhm.
could even have testimonials from actors on here saying, "Yeah, I worked for this company, and then I hired MAA to as my agent,
Mhm.
and they got paid sometimes double what they were
Mhm.
getting paid before,
Right. Yep.
and mileage, and wardrobe, and all those things that weren't,
Mhm.
considered that they wanted the actor to do,
Right.
all,
Like,
on their own."
get your own hotel room for an out of town shoot. It's like, really?
Right. No, that's pay for your own gas. You don't get mileage. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
gonna ask you to drive 2 hours,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
that's on you.
And these are things that so I book the music because I'm a musician, and I typically I did get calls from
Mhm.
musicians beforehand, and that's why Mary and I teamed up. Mary
Right.
was a professor of mine in college, and then we kind of re-met when I moved back here. And so I was like, man, I get all these calls from musicians and I just don't know what to do with them. And I end up farming them out, and then 9 times out of 10 something weird happens at the gig and it comes back on me. So I said, no more. I'm going to do it.
Right, right.
If I'm going to be the guy that gets the calls in the Midwest, I'm going
Mhm.
to do it. I'm going to do it legitimately under a company's name. I'm not doing it under my name ever again.
Right,
And so
right.
that's how this whole thing happened. And I have absolutely seen a big difference in what bands are getting paid, what solo musicians are getting paid. I've absolutely seen a difference in contracts, on how many contracts were broken beforehand, before I did this. And people are like, "Oh my God, if we didn't have a contract in place, I would have been so bummed
Well,
out
we're
about
holding
this."
people accountable. I mean, we're
Mhm,
just we're getting people, paid for what they do
mhm,
and at a decent wage, and it's just gonna keep getting better and better and better, and that's wonderful to hear on the music end, because it's the same on the acting end,
mhm,
which is wonderful, and I have had companies contact me and say, "Well, what would we need this many actors, and, what, what should we pay them?" And then I'm like, "Okay, well, you need to give me more information. How long are the days?
mhm,
Where is the site?"
mhm, mhm.
Um, how long do you need them for? What about wardrobe? What about makeup? What about, and then they're like, "Oh, they're not okay."
It's like,
And it's
yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
like production companies are all of a sudden going, "Oh wow, we actually need to be pro."
yes, and you can tell the difference even if you just watch anything on television, even, on anything streaming anything. You can
Mhm.
tell the difference between a local commercial and a national commercial, because a
No, for
national
sure.
commercial is polished,
Right,
and the local commercials, half the times, they don't even pay these people. But
right.
it's like it's cringeworthy. I'll watch these things and be like, "Oh my gosh, you want a great ad, but you don't wanna pay for it?" Well, it really, you do get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's I Carrie actually pulled up. I don't know how she found it, but she found a old commercial for a local restaurant that two of our college friends were in, and that we used to laugh about back in the day, and we
Uh-huh.
totally forgot about it. And it was like two people eating, and the guy's like so into his food that he's ignoring his girlfriend. And it was just, she's like, Glenn, pay attention to me. And he's like, yes, these margaritas are good. I mean, it was the writing was just atrociously bad, but it was really funny. We still quote it after all,
And they weren't trying to be funny, like it was supposed to sell the restaurant, right? It was
the
caricature of
super, I mean, like, let's be honest, like the legendary Weird Wally is a car salesman here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Weird Wally had the worst commercials of any business ever. But the fact remains, they were so genius because they were bad.
Right, but you would remember them. And you'd want to watch them, right? Because they were so bad. So if you're gonna do anything, do it full bore. Right. You know what I mean? Go big or go home. Yes. So if you're gonna be bad, be really bad.
Yeah. Film it bad. Use old, like, make it look bad. Like, and they didn't really try to do that. I don't think that's not wasn't their angle at the time. But they kept those commercials running for like 10 or 15 years, and by the time, and I think he passed away like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't think it was recently. Too long ago.
Yeah, and he came to my house once and asked about a car sitting in front of my house and said, "Did you want to sell that?" Which I was like, "I don't know who you are." He said, "I'm Weird Wally." I was like, "Well, then I'll think about it. Just because you're on my porch, what fun!"
Oh my gosh! One time I walked in there because I don't remember what was going on. Somebody I knew needed a car, so I was right by there, and I stopped in, and I walked in the office, and it literally felt like I was walking in some kind of like mob scene. It was just like an old 70s, like, mob guy. But it was like
for years. I mean, he sold cars cheap and he didn't have any pretension. He was just like, you want a car, just have a car. Here you go.
Yeah. And I think his assistant is still running the place. But I guess the point is that they were so obviously terrible that they became legendary.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there was an ad in Chicago with the guy kicking the side of his car and the whole car falling apart. That it was for a tow yard, and that tow yard commercial is now legendary in Chicago.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that commercial.
He's got like a leather band on his arm, and he's from the 70s, and it's like filmed. It was filmed back then, but it was so terrible and so funny and they played it all the time. Like it was just run the ad,
and it probably brought him business.
Oh, tons of business. It made their name like Kleenex. I mean, they were the local tow yard. Everybody knew.
Because I was in Chicago for a long time, and I remember that commercial.
Yep.
That's really funny.
I know.
Yeah. But, so we're not saying that we want to shoot bad commercials. What we're saying is, back to that, don't be a Weird Wally, right? Send us a good audition.
Yeah. Unless you want to be a Weird Wally, then do it. Jump in.
Yeah, but do it all the way. Be super Weird Wally.
Yeah. But I guess the point is that we're trying to educate local production companies as well on how to film your commercials, because we also are consultants. We also find gear. We can find production equipment for staging for festivals. We can do all this kind of stuff. We've basically become the center point or the middleman, so to speak, for larger projects. Which is
and we've had so many production companies contact us with questions like, how do we write a contract? What do we need to put in here for the actors? What do they expect? And I'm so thrilled. And that didn't happen until like maybe 6 months ago when people started coming to us and wanting advice.
Right. And we very seldom like turn our back on a project. We can always kind of like deflect, where to send somebody or, So if you have any questions that folks out there in the industry, let us know. That's we're trying to educate the industry to be better and to take care of each other. And that's really the whole point of, I think.
And it's not just the production companies who need to educate. That's why we need to educate the actors too. So when they hire the talent knows what to do. It goes both ways, because I don't want to make it sound like we're bashing production companies, because a lot of times they just don't know. And it's the same with actors. We're just trying to educate so that both ends get a better deal.
Yeah. So in the midst of a pandemic, a global pandemic, we've seen 3 huge movies being filmed, and 2 of which, all 3 of which have reached out to us. One we couldn't do. The other 2 are still in the works, and they're casting right now. and we've actually cast 2 or 3 actors 6-digit dollar amounts in those movies. And so, folks, if you think stuff is not happening, it is.
It is happening.
And they're casting now for later filming. So if you're interested in getting your quote unquote stuff together, get it together and get your headshots to us and let people know about Mid-America Artists, because people are casting larger productions right now, and it's pretty awesome.
And we need people, and we're open, and don't think because, oh, well, I don't know if I'm attractive enough, or I weigh too much or too little or too short. No, we need every size, type, ethnicity, because like right now we're casting, the indigenous films. So we need a lot of Native American actors, another one's coming up that I need to talk to you about, Michael. And they're looking for all African-American cast. So we need everybody. It's not just.
And we just cast the South Dakota lottery commercial. That was pretty cool. And then one before that, we cast. They needed a bunch of motorcycle guys, and we found like 15 motorcycle guys for the commercial. And
that was fun.
Those were big dollar projects. I mean, they're not messing around. So it's incredible. I just got a message I didn't tell you about. I got a message from one of the actors that says, "Thank you so much for hooking me up with that project. I ended up using the money to buy my mother a car, and she which she needed it desperately because she had lost her job or something like this." And so it was just like this endearing kind of thing. It's like these are the things that pay us back, right?
Exactly.
When you hear these stories of like,
I just got goosebumps. I'm like, oh,
if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this kind of project, or we wouldn't be getting this kind of money. I hear those kinds of things and say, okay, our objective is starting this side company prevailed. I mean, it's just awesome. It's awesome to hear that.
Because the work is out there. That's the thing. It took us a while to get rolling because people had to know we existed, but now they do.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's very cool to see these types of projects coming to fruition, and actually, the end result in making a person with that skill happy. So that's really cool.
Yes.
So what else is going on? So we've got all these projects that are kind of in the works, and there was a hesitation with filming the larger budget film that we did because they couldn't get on the reservation. There was an outbreak, I think, on the reservation, and they wanted to be very conscious about that. So they stopped production, but now I think it's ramping back up for a shoot in September.
Yep. So they're looking to shoot at the end of September.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, which is great. And another thing we talked about, Michael, which I wanted to bring up, is possibly doing some stage readings, streaming.
Yes.
So not just theatrical plays. I mean, we originally talked about doing King Lear or some sort of Shakespeare, but now we're thinking of doing more mainstream, and so maybe some film scripts.
Yeah,
and having actors read that.
Yeah, and this is a big deal. I mean, I think that to bring happiness and joy to people right now, it's needed. There's a lot of dark, kind of downtrodden crap happening in the world, as we all obviously know. So we have this idea of doing, like you said, some famous films. We're gonna read the script and cast them live and read the script live. I think it's going to be super fun. So if you're interested, if you're interested in doing that, folks out there, please get a hold of us. We'll put out some feelers, but really when we put out feelers, a good portion of people don't get, they don't know about it. And so it's nice to tune into our Facebook page. And we also have a couple Facebook groups that we're a part of as well. The Nebraska, help me with the name.
Film Association and the Nebraska Actors and Actresses.
Yes. And so those private groups, they get, Daniel Kubert says he feels like he's spying on us. He's watching us. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Danny.
You're not spying. You're a part of this. You're a part of this, man.
We want you to watch. That's the whole point.
So those groups are huge. So if you're interested and you're wanting to get that stuff, when you do a Facebook group, the chance of you seeing it is higher because they don't put the algorithms on those. When you're just a part of a general page and you make a post, only 2% see that. Because I run a marketing company, and those are the things that I know. And so
many things. I learned many things from you.
Well, it's I wear a lot of different hats. So Red Rebel Media does a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's very fun and interesting. But if they boost it, that number can go up to 50 to 70, sometimes 80%. So when we put out auditions, make sure to tune into these private groups, because the private group is going to see it more often. So tune in. If you want to know what those groups are, get a hold of us, and we'll make sure to. We even have a Mid-America Artist group that we post to, that specifically is only job stuff. So we put our actors needed, musicians needed type posts on that group. So if you're interested, get a hold of us and let us know that you are. So,
and we have feelers with people all over the state. So, a lot of times we'll reach out to them and say, hey, can you post this here? Can you post that there? And sometimes they'll do it without even asking, which is wonderful. They'll just share it.
Yeah. Lori Richards from the Film Commission. She's a close friend of ours, and she kind of helps us out with a lot of stuff. And there's a gal named Stacy up in Fremont who's crushing it. She's kind of been this point of contact up there for some larger films. Fremont, Nebraska is becoming the center of Hollywood in the Midwest, and they're filming and have filmed at like a half a dozen projects are in the works or have been filmed already. And it's like, wow, what's going on in Fremont? That's wild.
They're trying to raise money to build a studio. I don't know if that'll come to fruition, but it's certainly in the idea stage, which is nice.
A lot of good ideas brewing up there. So,
but that's where it starts. It starts as an idea, and then, and think also, as for those of you out there that are interested in doing or being a part of the the readings for films and plays that we're going to do, this is something you can do out of the comfort of your own home. We're not going to meet and have rehearsals at a certain place. So if you're concerned about safety issues or contact, because Michael is the whiz that he is, we can get as many people as we need. I mean, not as many people, but we have the ability to put everybody together.
We can do some streamed. It's all going to be streamed. So everything we're doing now is streamed. So we're going to do staged readings and script readings of these famous movies, and possibly some local plays. We've been contacted by some local playwrights, which they want to do some readings too. So Mid-America Artists wants to do a lot more online, have a lot more accessible online content. So now we're in the streaming era, obviously for good reason. We're all hunkered down at home, and we're like, what can we do with streams? So all these ideas have brewed from this. So Bob Hall, a local magician, wizard icon, who's a comic book artist, was a part of early, he was one of the very first people that worked on Captain America and Batman.
Yeah, I just love that.
I know. He's amazing, and he also just did the Bottle Tops record cover for our new record coming out. It's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, I did a website for him, and I didn't want to take his money. I was like, I'm not going to take any money for this. And he's like, well, at least, what can I do for you? And I'm like, well,
actually,
that's
great art. Let's do some art bartering, which is always a great thing.
Yeah, he crushed it. It's awesome. It's really beautiful.
That's great.
And so, but he's going to be a part of some readings down the road too, and he's excited to help us out with that. So there's all kinds of fun stuff happening, lady. I mean,
we've gotten several really good actors that have expressed interest in being in the readings, which is wonderful.
Yeah. So, and some theaters locally are doing some stuff. I know there's a what's the place that I brought up to you last week?
Capital City, is that what it's called?
Capital City is doing some actually some in-person theater productions, which is, I guess they did one and it went okay, but
good.
Yeah, personally, I'm not yet there. I see people doing festivals around town, and
I'm not ready for that yet. I just the numbers
are coming out. Like, okay, we're still seeing 60 cases a day, and
I'm going to wait until the pandemic is, calmed down, and it's just not yet, I mean, eventually I think things will change, though. I don't think they'll ever go back to exactly how they were. And that's okay.
Especially watching the Republican National Convention last night, like nobody was distanced. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not ready to risk my children's lives yet with that. So
3,500 people died in the last 4 days. Like,
wow.
It's crazy. And I'm still really wanting to go out and play shows. I've done a few vineyards.
Mm-hmm.
And I teamed up with the lead center and was on the pedicab kind of bicycle thing. But I think that we should all just be careful still. So
Yes, please.
that's kind of my thing. So,
I agree.
but if people are being careful, by all means, take part and do your stuff.
Right.
But we think that there's still some fun to be had online. I think a lot of people are still online, kind of doing their thing, and I think some stage readings would be really fun. So
yeah, I think so too.
So get a hold of us if you want to be a part of those, and spread the word to your fellow friends and neighbors that want to be a part of stuff like that. Perhaps maybe somebody that's not, that hasn't had time to go out and audition. There's so many of those people that like sink into their careers and forget that they have talent as actors and actresses. Have them
Get
reach
a
out
hold
to
of
us.
us. Send us your stuff. Tell us you're interested.
Yeah. So what else is going on? Anything else going on? Can we think of anything else?
Not
I
at the
feel like I
moment.
haven't seen you in so long.
I know. I can't wait to see you.
I
Michael
know.
and I are actually going to like see each other next week to
Yeah.
discuss business. So
Right.
it's kind of exciting.
I know it is. Yeah, we're going to have a lot to work out. So that'll be fun. And,
Yes.
it's been a thrill to see work still coming in the midst of all of this stuff. And it's like,
And more work. I mean, it's which is great. It's like
yeah,
every week now we have a different project. It seems like that's been starting, within the last month, I think.
yeah, the phone's still ringing. So,
Mhm.
it's like, it's great. I think people are, and the productions that we've booked for are outdoor shoots. They're taking major precautions with taking temperatures and making sure people quarantine before the
Oh,
shoot.
so yes, absolutely.
So they're like ultra, very, very careful. So
Yeah.
and if they
Yeah.
bring anybody in from out of state, they absolutely have to be, looked over, taken care of, and like examined, I guess is the word.
Well, and the SAG rules now are if you come from out of state, you have to stay for 2 weeks. I mean, it's a quarantine. As far as SAG, it's not a Nebraska state law. It's for Screen Actors Guild or SAG-AFTRA that it has to be a 2-week thing. Okay. Yeah, now that may change. I mean, the rule, the guidelines and rules change all the time. But for now, that's the guideline, and everyone except when you're speaking on set, you are masked and 6 feet away. The distancing rules are followed, so they're being ultra careful because they want to keep shooting. So if you take, and that's the thing is like if people just use common sense, which one of my favorite sayings, common sense, not so common, but. But if you use common sense and follow, so yeah, safety precautions are being taken, so just out of respect for yourself and for the others on the set, so we can keep doing work, so we can keep shooting things.
Yes. And keep active and, yeah, for everybody. Times are changing, this is, for those that pivot and those that I've been saying that word so often in the 19 shows I've done. This is my 19th episode. It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Well, it's just nuts. I never thought I'd ever do this, but I actually really enjoy it. It's like I get to reach out and kind of pick people's brains in different industries, and it's been super eye-opening. We've talked to restaurants and different business owners, bar owners, and realtors and all kinds of really fun stuff to see how those those worlds are rotating and pivoting, and
adapting to what they need to. I mean, because it's we're adapting to change.
Absolutely.
Change is good.
You have to do it. Yeah. And some people are like, well, if you don't adapt, you're kind of leaving yourself in the dirt. And it's like, well, part of that's very true, but also I hope, our government's doing their part too, without getting political. But
I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah. Let's not.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
Don't go there.
Don't go there. Don't get me started. Yeah.
But it's we're all working together. I think as long as a local Lincoln community, a local Nebraska community, we need to work together to make sure we're all taken care of. So, and that stuff is still happening. So
yes.
So today's show, we just urge you guys to spread the message that yes, we are still doing things. The phone calls are still coming in. Jobs are hiring big dollar stuff. So if you're out of work out there, get a hold of us. And you never know. you could get cast in one of these projects,
Yes.
and it could change your life. I know we've changed two people's lives, huge. Like to it's amazing to like think about that. Like one gig literally could change someone's life. It's like winning the lottery, but it's like the chances are way better than winning the lottery as long as you're just awesome and you submit your stuff professionally and you and you have a sense about you.
That's the main. Take it seriously, because these are actual jobs,
Right.
So it's just like applying for any other job. Put your best, your best foot forward, your best face forward, be professional, look professional, sound professional.
Yep. It's not that hard to do, in my opinion, as long as you cross all the T's and dot the I's, you're good
Right.
to go.
And don't take it personally if you don't get cast. It doesn't mean you were terrible. It might mean, that you looked like someone that they didn't want to hang out with in high school. You just never know. So just always do your best job. And in fact, recently, though it didn't work out, but this has happened before to me personally and to other actors, where there's a job I auditioned for, didn't get, but then they called me, a few weeks later and said, hey, actually, we're casting this and you don't need to audition. We liked you. We didn't want you for the other one, but we want you for this.
Yeah.
So even when you're auditioning for one and you don't get it, that could be an audition for a spot they're doing later on. Right. You just never know.
And to be honest, our stable, I guess is the word, of actors is not that huge. I mean, it's decently huge for the Midwest, but it's not that huge. So these companies will see you, no doubt, and they'll remember you for sure.
They do. And let's let them remember them in a good way.
Exactly.
As opposed to that's not who we want, but we liked her or him, So this isn't going to work out for this project, but as opposed to, oh my gosh, if they send us that actor one more time,
right.
We don't want that.
Well, it's nice to be able to change the level of audition, like how auditions are being sent, what they look like. We always make sure to, make our auditions formulated in a certain way that are easy for them. So it's nice to have a reputation for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Changing the game on how we as casting directors, submit auditions to make production houses, like us. So
right, exactly, because we're only as good as our product, and our product are the talent.
Yeah. I just had somebody ask, how do I audition? Mary, how does somebody audition?
Well, it depends on what you're auditioning for. Are you talking about auditioning for the agency or for a specific project?
Good question. Hopefully this person heard that. Well, let's say they're auditioning for the agency. What do they need?
Then what they need to do is they need to send me, like you would for any other job inquiry, is you need to send me your headshot and a resume and a brief letter of interest in what kind of things you're interested in. Are you interested in just doing extra work? Are you interested in auditioning for commercials or films, or in doing a reading, or all of the above? Voiceovers, print, So tell me about yourself and send me your stuff.
This person was specifically asking about the African American piece.
Oh, then you would just send me your stuff and say, I'm interested, in anything, in the film coming up. I heard it mentioned on the show, and I'm interested in auditioning for that.
There you go. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it's really simple. Don't make it. A lot of things, I think people, not just actors, but people make things more complicated than they need to be. It should be simple for everyone. And if I need more information, I will email you back and say, hey, this is great. Thanks for sending. Now, please, but I need to know this, this, and this, right? And then a lot of times then the buck stops there. Then I never hear back from them. It's like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah. And your email address is mary@midamericaartists.com.
Yep.
That's plural.
It's on our website too, right? Yeah.
Yep. And you can go to midamericaartists.com and check out our stable of musicians. If you're looking to book musicians at your vineyard or your business, there's a whole stable of musicians there to check out. And there's also I believe we took down our list of actors because we had so
they were
many.
Growing so quickly. We couldn't even really keep up with who we had.
Right. But if you're interested, or if you're a production house out there watching, just email and we'll send you our full catalog of actors and actresses that we have available. It's quite extensive, to be honest. It's not.
It is. And usually what we do is that we send out only what pertains to what they're looking for.
Right. And again, I said earlier, our stable's not huge, which it's not, but I think it's big enough for production houses to have options. But it's not like some LA or New York, Chicago people that have like 4,000 actors to choose. It's not like that.
Right.
So,
but then, and most of them don't actually. But the nice thing is also, even if because we found a lot of actors through posting online on Facebook and such on our page and that kind of thing, and then we've gotten more actors that way for specific roles. So even if, and that's one of the reasons why we took it down too, because we didn't want production companies going on our website and saying, oh well, they don't have enough people of color, or oh, they don't have enough people of the older generation or whatever. But yet that's why we took it down too, because even though they weren't on the website, it doesn't mean we don't have access to or can't find them on a dime.
Right. So it was frustrating to be like, no, wait a minute, we have a lot more people, but you didn't tell us what you were looking for. Right.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. So, and it's amazing because we have like 6 degrees of separation to thousands of people, but we just,
between you and I, Michael, oh my goodness, the people that we knew across the Midwest, it's nuts.
I think, well, for example, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we got a call. They needed a construction worker guy. Right. And we did our homework, and I think we ended up submitting like 50 different people.
It was crazy within a couple of days.
And these are like specific looking men who are kind of burly and shaggy and kind of, construction workery. And so it's like, that's pretty amazing to assemble that because in the Midwest. I think it is.
Yes.
But
I think it is too. Oh, and let me say this too, while we're on the topic of submitting, because I did have to have a talk with a couple of actors about this. When I contact you specifically, you as an actor specifically for a certain role, unless I say something in that email or in the text or phone call about contacting your friends, this doesn't mean contact a bunch of people, right? Because sometimes they're not the right type. I didn't contact them because they're not the right type for a specific role.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like if we put it out there that we were looking for, please, like right now I'm saying, yes, please send me all your submissions, but just know if I contact you, a certain actor for a certain role, it's because you met the specs that the production company is asking for. Right. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay. Right. Exactly. So it kind of, we want to water it down even more by the time it gets to the end point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So,
and if I don't contact a certain person for a certain role, it's not because I don't think you're not talented. It's because you didn't fit the physical description. Like it's really that basic.
Right. Right. And people are very specific with us sometimes. They're like,
oh my goodness, yes.
I want a blonde with glasses who's 5'5", and so we have to be very straight up.
But, right.
So
I want facial hair. I want this. I want someone, between 20 and 25. I mean, or at least looks that way. They're very specific.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, does anybody out there watching have questions or anything for Mary today? Mary can be reached at mary@midamericaartists.com. If you have any questions for her, she's also on some social media channels out there. You can, you're very accessible.
I'm very accessible. Yeah.
Yes.
In a good way.
Yes. You're ethereal, yet somewhat accessible.
I like that. Well, thanks for having me on, Michael.
You're welcome. And it's great to talk to you. I would do this for hours, regardless of being live. So yeah, we're going to get together and we'll chat next week, about some stuff, but I'm so proud of you in this business. You've really focused all of your things together, and you're really taking this, to the next level on helping people around you. And I think that's beautiful. I really do.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to I wanted to change the Midwest attitude about the business as less of a hobby and more of a business.
Well, you've seen it. You've gone through so much with this. I mean, you've been doing this for so long, in and out of commercials. I've used you for music videos. You've done music videos. You've done commercials. You've done like movies, and directed so much. I think it's incredible because I want to change the mentality of being from Nebraska.
I agree. I agree.
I think that we all know there's been so many super famous, awesome people that come out. Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, to mention a few incredible
Nick
actors,
Nolte, Henry Fonda.
huge actors. Some of the biggest actors ever have come out of Nebraska.
But they had to leave because, the work isn't here. So we're trying to bring the work here,
right?
And showcase the talent that we have. But also that's why I'm saying the people, when you want to get involved, to the actors, directors, to anyone, you have to take it seriously. And because there's nothing more frustrating is when I have someone come to me and say, I want to be a part of it. Then I'm like, okay, we need to record an audition. And they're like, oh, can't you do that for me? And I'm like, nope. I can't. All I'm asking you to do is give 15 minutes of your time, polish it up, and send it to me. Right. We'll do the rest.
And what we've noticed, folks, is that there'll be huge film projects in Nebraska. And then all of a sudden they bring in all these people from New York and Chicago and LA. And it's like, we don't have to do that, guys. Like, we have incredible talent here, but the talent here hasn't taken the time to harness that talent. They haven't got professional headshots. They haven't taken the time to give a good audition and get prepared for it and get the reading in advance and, do the part that they need to do to prepare themselves.
And simple rules of thumb. Like, if I send you a script with lines for an audition, memorize them.
Yeah, sure.
Don't have the piece of paper sitting in, staring off to the center of the camera, reading your piece of paper. You're not going to get it. Right. You're not going to get the job.
And this is why they book people from out of state to come into our state. And so we want to change that. And I think that we can change that. I've seen the talent here and it's super, super good. And we just want to kind of make that more accessible. So
the people have to take it seriously, and you have to be able to wear many hats as an actor. I mean, not an actor, but as an artist, that, Michael. I mean, you're an amazing musician and singer and actor, and you own your production company, and then we're working on this an agency. It's the same thing as me. It started off as I just wanted to act. That's all I wanted to do, and I quickly learned that I had to learn several aspects of the business and make myself indispensable so that I know this, and this, and can guide others forward while still pursuing my own artistic ventures, because I'm still a performer. I still audition for commercials and voiceovers and films. I do that personally too, because that's what I love to do.
Right. But you adapted when somebody called and needed a dialect coach, which has been huge for you recently.
Yeah.
You said, well, I can do that as well. I do that as well.
Right. And it just so happens that dialects are kind of near and dear to me as an acting teacher and a director, because that's one of the things that drove me crazy when I first moved here from Chicago. Even though Chicago is the Midwest, there were a lot of people that were more trained, I should say, or took it more seriously in Chicago than here, acting wise. I would hear dialects that just were cringe worthy, whereas my daughters would say cringy. Right. And I'd be like, okay, if you're going to do that, if you're not going to learn how to do the dialect, don't do it. Just don't do it. Right. It makes me nuts. So this dialect coach thing was fun. I was like, ooh, wait, I've kind of been doing this, but how do I do this Skype with someone with it? Because most of my actors are overseas. They're in England. Only a couple were in the United States. So, and it just was super fun, because it is fun because I'm meeting with them again, because they're actually going to start shooting now end of September, which is great. Production starts on the 8th, and then they're going to shoot between end of September to mid-November, which is exciting.
That's super exciting. Well, you've adapted lovely, and I think that I think that's what we have to do. We're in the Midwest, folks. I mean, let's be honest. We have to work harder because of that. And if we do, we can change that stigma of saying, well, Nebraska, what the hell's in Nebraska? Well, I'll tell you what's in Nebraska. We've got some of the finest entertainers in the world in Nebraska, but we all have to work together to get there.
Right.
So
maybe there's stuff that we've gotten, Michael, where, they say, we want to hire this person, or we need these roles filled. Oh, but the leads, well, they're coming in from LA. And we're like, you didn't even give us a chance. Right. What if you found someone here that you liked? But, so we want to change that thought process.
Yeah, we just want to say, wait a minute, before you do that, you should see our stable. There might be somebody.
Right. And then you can go to, look in LA if you need to, because think of how much money that saves them too. I mean, I've been on shoots as an actor where they flew in the entire crew from LA, everything, you know,
Mhm.
for the cameramen to the gaffers to the grips to, you know, the PA, the director. And like I was the only local person that they had hired, and they were shocked that they found someone in Nebraska that could act.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, wow, but you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of people.
Deeper. Yeah, exactly. So we're making that more accessible to those production companies, but we need you guys out there
Yes.
to spread the word. Spread the word
Yeah.
about the people that want to do this kind of thing. So anyway, I think
Brand,
that,
put the best foot forward. That's okay. And then that's all I want to say.
yeah. Put your all those things, all
All
those
the,
good things.
all the things.
So share this stream. This stream is going to be forever, folks. So share this stream. There's a ton of helpful information out there. Within this stream on our website. Talk to Mary, talk to me, get a hold of me directly. But I'm excited. Red Rebel's doing great. You know, I can't believe how much business we kind of blew up during the pandemic, and so it's awesome. I'm so grateful and blessed to say that. Not very many people can say that. A lot of people financially are in a bad place, but I'm trying to give back everything I can to the community and get people working and get some of these funds moved to some of the clubs that are struggling, some of the people, musicians that are struggling. We're trying to put as many people to work. So if you know anybody that's struggling right now, send them our way. You never know, we might be able to find some work for them. So,
Agreed.
so anyway, much love to Mary Douglas, ladies and gentlemen. Like Trump's like son's girlfriend. Did you watch her speech? She's like, yes.
I didn't see that.
It's like crazy. Oh gosh, you got to go back and watch it. She's like introducing a wrestler at WrestleMania or something. That's very comical. But I want to say much love to all you people tuning in and spreading this message. Hey, we're doing it. Small business is thriving. We're trying our best. So let's keep doing it, folks. Much love to Mary Douglas. Thank you so much, honey.
To you. Thanks, Michael.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good day. Happy Friday. All right. That's Mary Douglas, y'all, from Mid America Artists. Get a hold of her at Mary at midamericaartists.com. That's Mary at midamericaartists.com. She is a gem, folks. Wonderful local talent. Awesome. Well, I'm going to sign off. And happy Friday, folks. Have a good weekend and take care of each other. Love each other. Get some rest. And we'll see you next week. Adios, y'all.